I'm pushing the better part of a decade in being a business lawyer, specifically in being a business lawyer that works with business owners as opposed to the different other parties of the business. So I work directly with business owners and entrepreneurs. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing with you the number one quality or thought pattern I have noticed in my most successful clients ever. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to click on the subscribe button down below. My name is Pam Matani. I am a business lawyer and the founder here at Graphene Business Law, a law firm offering services all over Ontario, Canada. And how do we do that? Because we're virtual, so you can benefit from our services from the comfort of your couch or bed or other settings. We don't judge. Now, what is the one quality I've noticed in my really successful clients? The quality might surprise you because you might be thinking, hard work, determination, perseverance. But working hard, aka hard work, working hard at the wrong thing isn't going to get any of my clients very far. Persevering at the wrong thing isn't going to get any of my clients very far. The thought pattern that I've noticed that's the most common denominator between all of my clients, my successful clients, is this. They have a very clear exit strategy in mind for their business. Now, before you go and conflate the term exit strategy with like a Coca-Cola or Walmart or New York Stock Exchange situation, I want you to step back and think about what we're really talking about when I share this thought pattern, and also what else would be going on in the mind of somebody that has this thought pattern. So let's talk about the exit strategy concept first. Exit strategy means that it doesn't have to be like a glamorous, we're ringing the Toronto Stock Exchange bell. Exit strategy means that my most successful clients have a very clear end vision for their business in mind. This end vision could look like a lot of things. It could look like never giving up control and never taking on a single investor and never giving up a single percentage of equity. The exit strategy for someone else might look like being bought out by a bigger company. The exit strategy for someone else might look like a legacy business for your family. An exit strategy for someone else, you get the point. There is a huge range of what exit strategy could mean. But an exit strategy for someone else could be, of course it could be, going public. Public meaning like being listed on a stock exchange, things like that. So exit strategies vary. However, what doesn't vary is that the client that's going to come to me with a very clear exit strategy in mind is going to have all of those other qualities that you might have guessed at the beginning when I said, guess what quality the really successful guys have. So somebody that has an exit strategy in mind has thought about their business through and through and through. On average, right? You could have the, can we say delusional business owner come your way and be like, I'm going to go public, I'm going to be worth $1 billion, and they haven't had a sale in the 3 years they've run their business. Sure, there is delusion there, okay, but we're talking about like the realistic, the reasonable average client that comes to me with an exit strategy is somebody that knows their numbers through and through, is somebody that knows their product or service in and out, is somebody that knows their staff, is somebody that knows what's most important, themselves through and through, somebody that knows their weaknesses, they've delegated, somebody that knows their strengths, they go deeper in those, they invest more and more in their strengths, you don't delegate those, and so on and so forth. So somebody, a client that has thought of the conclusion of their business is a client that has really done the homework in a realistic, nose to the ground, pedal to the metal, insert expression here, in a ultra realistic manner. And it's something that I would encourage you to think about if you haven't already. This YouTube channel is for information and educational purposes, and solely for business owners and entrepreneurs. So if you're watching this, there's a very high chance that you are at least thinking about opening a business, but also probably owning and operating your own business right now. If you haven't thought about an exit strategy, there's going to be a few dangers with that. Where are you going? What's the end goal here? And keep in mind, a lot of people are going to have a very poorly worded end goal of the end goal is to make money. Well, yeah, the end goal is not going to be to crash and burn. But that kind of end goal reminds me of an example in a book I read growing up. I've always loved business books, always. One of the first business books I read, I started reading them at like 9 years old. But one of the first ones that I can remember was about wealth building. And he gave the example of these two women, and the example, the big picture being that you need to know where you're going, right? Much like this exit strategy. So the book gave the example of these two women that both had called the flight agency back when those were a thing. Sorry if you own one right now. They'd called the flight agency, and one woman had been like, ticket to London ASAP. And the other woman had been like, I want a ticket to Paris starting from Chicago. I want it at this time on this day, and only if it's within these price parameters. So the woman going to Paris got her ticket. The woman going to London missed her flight and called ultra disappointed the next day saying, where's my ticket to London? I really needed to go there tomorrow. And the flight agent, travel agent, responded to her and was like, how could I buy you a ticket? I didn't even know where you were leaving from. So the point there, again, is lack of clarity is going to mess up your goals every time. An unclear goal is not a goal. It becomes more of an obstacle than anything. So because you don't know how well you're doing, you don't know what you're keeping on top of. So same here. I share that anecdote to further drive in the point. Where is your flight going to? Where is it starting from? And where is your flight going to? Just like the confused woman going to London but leaving from nowhere, you need to have those 2 points of your destination. Where are you starting from, when you're going to? And by the way, it is totally not unrealistic if your goal is going public, by the way, and ringing that Toronto Stock Exchange bell. There's nothing wrong with that, so long as you can back it up. So, be careful in your goals. If your goal is to be bought out by another company, that's an excellent goal. Excellent goal. A lot of people get very wealthy doing that, especially if they can retain leadership positions in their company, a little bit of equity, and so on and so forth. Your goal might be to merge with a competitor and buddy 50-50, whatever your goal is. And by the way, if you're not clear as to your goal, of course you can reach out to us here anytime. info@graphenebusinesslaw is our email address. I always link it in the description box down below. We can help you actively as business lawyers work towards your goal, because if you've got a certain goal in mind, well, you're going to need the legal processes to implement that goal and to work toward that goal, right? I want to again reiterate that my most successful clients in law, my most successful clients at Graphene have been those that have a very clear end goal or exit strategy, synonymous terms, for their business. And if that's not you, make it be you. Let's go. Thank you for watching. Again, give this video a big thumbs up. This is free content. I take time out of my day to push out because I know what it was like to not have the resources in place to do what I wanted to do back in my time. And this channel for me is simply for the joy of giving back and the joy of reading your comments and hearing from you guys and building up our business law community. Again, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one. Interrupting to say, if you're watching this video and you're a beginner business owner, I think time and place have advanced sufficiently that you don't necessarily always need a lawyer to get you in tip-top shape. All the better if you couldn't afford one to begin with, or if you are too intimidated to go to a lawyer's desk to begin with. So I'm going to shout out here a platform I've recently launched, Easy Law, just as the name suggests, a platform offering templates to business owners and entrepreneurs that are hassle-free, fill in the blank, and are going to let you breathe for the first time in business. These templates are as protective as if you had gotten them fresh off my desk. The templates, again, are going to work really well for you if you don't have any super complicated needs in business. For the clients that have the super complicated needs or that have goals that can't necessarily be templated, like starting a charity or going public on a stock exchange, things like that. Those are clients that, of course, we will continue to help in person here at Graphene Business Law. Easy Law puts you on a level playing field with somebody that paid $3,000 for an agreement. You're going to find it on Easy Law at a 99% discount. Take advantage of those welcome prices, and again, allow yourself to breathe for the first time since starting your business, knowing that the legals have been taken care of by Easy Law.